the Jagaban army, which you as the national youth leader of the APC leads, and there have been criticisms whether this is a militia group or not, and you say it is not. But you have also been quoted that there is an Air Force wing, there is an amphibious wing, there is the naval wing of the Jagaban army. Which of these wings of the Jagaban army will you be leading as we go to the polls?
So guys, in case you don't know, there is what we call the Jagaban army, a group of people that the APC has prepared to use in this coming election. I want you to listen to what the APC youth leader has to say about the Jagaban army.
Jagaban army is, when we started the campaign, understanding that this election is a youthful election, and it's important that we engage and mobilize young Nigerians, in particular the over 200,000 young youth leaders in our party, and by extension over 10 million young Nigerians who are members of the APC. We set up our APC National Youth Campaign Council. And of course, we adopted the title, the Jagaban Army, because we're an army of young people. In other words, a battalion of young people. And of course, the battalion is also synonymous with the nickname for Ahmed Tinubu, which is BAT. Of course, one of the main reasons why we adopted the word army was also because in election, canvassers are called foot soldiers. So if you're a foot soldier, automatically, a soldier is a member of an army. So it's not like a military organization or anything of sort. It's just to say this is a combination of foot soldiers of the APC and Ahmed Tinubu across Nigeria. Of course, we have also what we call the Asiwaju Air Force. That is inferred from the word airwaves. Communication, television, radio mast is controlled by the airwaves. And so our goal is to take over the air narratives, the media around Asiwaju. And you would agree with me that my candidate did a lot of that. Everybody's talking about him every day, even on the Rise TV and, and many other platforms. So we did our best to be able to, own, the airwaves, not in a violent way like some other candidates' followers have done in terms of, bullying people and all of that. But we're able to share a narrative on renewed hope. So that's what the Air Force was about. And of course, we have the BAT envoy, which is our diplomatic connotation, which is there are people who are like spokespersons for Ahmed Tinubu. These were all developed under the APC National Youth Wing Campaign Council, of course, under my leadership. And the Youth Wing Campaign Council is a creation of the National Youth Wing of the APC, which has over, in its own structure alone, 200,000 young people. And I'll break it down for you. I, as a national youth leader, I have a deputy national youth leader. I have 6 zonal youth leaders, making 8 of us. I have 37 state youth leaders, and those 37 also have their deputy elected at their state congresses. Then we have 109 senatorial youth leaders across the country in every senatorial district in Nigeria. We have 8,864 ward youth leaders. I think I'm correct with that. 8,000 something ward youth leaders in every ward in Nigeria where we have youth leaders. And also, apart from the ward youth leaders, they also have their deputy ward youth leader, another 8,000 plus deputies. So between the ward alone, we have 16,000 foot soldiers there. Then we have in every single polling unit in Nigeria what we call our polling unit youth leaders. Also, some elected, some appointed. 176,000 plus polling unit youth leaders in APC Nigeria who are elected or appointed. So that alone, a structure under my office that the party now leverages on, who are members automatically of what we used to call Jagaban Army, but we've now called Jagaban Movement. But either you like it or not, the youth have refused to let go of the word Jagaban Army because they believe that the army of young people, non-violent, were not, they're just young people of our party who believe and follow the progressive ideologies of our party.
So guys, it remains shocking the way the APC members come out to defend Tinubu. Honestly, these people defend the APC candidate to the point that you would think all is well with Nigeria. Look at where the APC government has landed Nigeria. Look at where we are today. Think about the high inflation rate. Look at the insecurity. Look at the ASU strike that just ended not quite long. Look at how people are struggling to eat. Some families cannot even feed themselves. We all know how much this government has borrowed. Not to talk of the returned Abacha loots. All these things, we can't even account for them. And when they come out, they speak so passionately, about the APC. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, give this video a like, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.
A few minutes ago, we had Professor Patotomi with us, and he said something, and I would like you to just respond to that. He said that he cast aspersions at the competence of your candidate, his mental capacity to be president. In fact, he said that we didn't want a to-rise situation again in Nigeria, quoting him, that if in the event that your candidate becomes president, it will be a power tussle, a struggle between his wife, Mrs. Oluwemi Tinubu, and his son, Sheyi Tinubu, in terms of who is controlling things. What do you have to say about this? What is the state of your candidate to rule the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
You obviously don't know Asiwaju, and I would expect that someone like President Patotomi, who was a close friend of Asiwaju, who Asiwaju supported when he was going to run for governor, I believe, of Delta State, will know Asiwaju better. But of course, you never know anybody these days. The reality is Asiwaju is one of the most brightest and self-willed individual I've ever met and come across. And many Nigerians, I've seen at rallies when people want Asiwaju to drop the mic and just walk away. And I said, no, stop. You can't tell me when to drop the mic. I'm going to finish saying what I want to say. In little things like that, he has shown his independence and his superiority. I've stood next to him when people say, you know what, I think we need to go time. No. When we're in Abeokuta, when he was talking about the Naira note, they were telling him to wrap up. They said, no, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the youth. That is what a man who has a self-will would do. Asiwaju has led, the political party even from Lagos across Southwest. If his family has not controlled him at that, if his wife has not controlled him at that, is it now that his wife would? And the system and the government is beyond a family matter. There are other stakeholders in the party and in the administration who are going to be working with him. I want to believe that they're also going to have a voice when he becomes president. Asiwaju is very bright and sound. You've seen him speak on platform. The NESG event he held recently was showing on Channels TV, I believe, yesterday night. He's attended many events across Nigeria, speaking to people. Yes, there are events where they have not even allowed him to speak because they're just excited about his presence there. But he's a man that I stand with this man. He's a man that has a will of his own. Sometimes he will tell you, oh yeah, everybody, I want to sleep. Oh yeah, go out here. No matter who you are, a governor, a minister, as a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons people are scared of Asiwaju's leadership, because they know that it's not somebody you can easily control. It's a leader who has many of the people that you see today are people who, he is groomed up to leadership. So no matter who you are, to a large extent, Asiwaju has his own way of, telling you how he wants things to be.
Good to see you again after a very long time, Dai, my very good brother. I'd like to just ask you, good to see you again.
Bye.
I'd like to just ask you this. A lot has been said about it, and congratulations to the APC on completing, their rally. He had a mammoth rally in Lagos, big crowd out there, and all of that going for the APC. But I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. Number one will be about the gaffes. People question his health and mental state because of things like Bala Blue, Ulaba, and things like that. Gaffes, endless gaffes. That's number one. Secondly, a lot of Nigerians still want to know about the drug allegations against him. Thirdly, how old is he and what primary school did he go to?
Thank you. So let me take a question one by one. I would start from how old is he? Of course, the facts are there. Asiwaju is 70 years old. Even in 1993-94, when he ran for Senate, the facts and the details, the age there correlate with the calculation of his age now. I have to pick up your first and second question. I'm also stressed. Now, that leads me to your first question, which is the issue of the gaps. Number one, yes, some people have, argued that some of those things were doctored, and I have reason to believe that. But also, there are some, for example, who are probably, you're reading something, you're reading a speech on the teleprompter, and you see an error. Sometimes you look at what has been typed on the paper, and it may not, it's when you process it that you then realize, so there are errors of computers, of typings and all of that. But I don't believe that, largely all of those are things that have come out from Asiwaju. Some of them are doctored. But even forget the doctoring argument. As human, I, a young person, I was recently somewhere. I was coming from Akwa Ibom. I'd done about 10 states. I was in Delta, Ahmed community. I was tired and I was stressed. And there I was addressing people in my front, a young man in my late 30s. And I said, on election day, please go and vote. And in my head, I was seeing the broom. I wanted to say broom. And suddenly, I was almost saying umbrella. I quickly had to correct myself because I'm human. I was tired and exhausted. So there are people, even the PDP candidate, had made statements, you know, and corrected himself. We're not infallible. Let's stop being, what is it called? We're human. You could have, forget any other argument. If you had stress, like this man had worked, 36 states, over 500 meetings, even if he made those statements, it is human for him to be stressed sometimes, like I have been, and like I almost did before I corrected myself quickly. So let's not, you can, instead of emphasizing on one moment of maybe a slip of tongue, I think we should emphasize on the great things that he has done in Nigeria, in particular from his years as governor of Lagos,
you get
and
a
the great
chance to
things
talk
he wants
about
to do for
that now.
Nigeria.
You get a chance to talk about what primary school did he go to? Afterwards, then you get to talk about some of the things you're doing as you wrap up your campaign. What primary school did your candidate go to? Because these are the questions that have dogged the campaign thus far. What primary school did he attend?
I don't have the information clearly on my head here, but I'm sure that someone who has graduated all the way from primary to secondary and went on to Chicago State University, the records are there. For anybody who is interested in his primary school, can go on the internet or on social media, go and read his biographies, and we'll find those information available there.
Okay, at page 27.
But you know, Rufai, this is what, Dr. Abati, this is what I think that we need to begin to look at as a nation. When he was governor of Lagos State, transforming the economy, rebuilding the city, turned around Babbage that was flooded and turned it away to a co-Atlantic city. It transformed the whole Ahmadu Bello Way axis, transformed Maroko into Oniro, and built the Lekki axis all the way down. Rebuilt the road that led into Egon, Lasso and all of that, and did all of those. You know, we should be focusing on substance and the impact that this person wants to make. About primary school or no primary school, he has the capacity and the mental element. You know, you attribute a lot of things to him, but then you focus on the
don't worry yourself. Even the Nigerian constitution says if you have school start or is equivalent, or even if you didn't go to school, once you can speak English and you attend one night school, you can be president of Nigeria. That's what the constitution says. But anyway, I wanted to draw your attention to page 27 of this day newspaper today, where we have a statement by your candidate. To my compatriots, why I seek your mandate to be president of Nigeria. So all of these things you are telling us, he talks about what he did as governor of Lagos State and all of that. And other candidates, the three other leading candidates, also have their statements in that newspaper today. But I wanted to draw your attention to what happened yesterday in Abuja, the second signing of a national peace accord, where it was agreed by all the 18 political parties that whoever wins, whatever the outcome will be respected. And if anybody has any concerns, they will raise the concerns through legitimate and legal means. Now, that same meeting yesterday reported that spokespersons have been the problem since the first accord was signed in September 2022. 44% of spokespersons, 19% of political candidates, 16%, I think, of party members just disobeying the need for peace. And I want to ask you, since you are leading the Jagaban army of youths, is there any guarantee that your party and the group that you lead will respect the outcome of this election as agreed upon at that peace accord yesterday?
Why would we not be excited about winning? Why would we not respect the fact that Nigerians are going to give us their full support? We've been on the ground. We've been in states across Nigeria talking to people.
No, it could go. No. The election could go in any direction. We're talking about the outcome.
Wherever the election goes, we will weigh the realities of the outcomes of the election. But we can assure you that our people in the APC are not going to resort to violence. We're not going to, get involved in anything that would affect the integrity of the election. I think this message should actually go to the people who have been attacking our people on social media, who have been intolerable with anything about Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu or the APC, who believe without a doubt that their own candidate is the only one who can transform Nigeria. I think we should be talking about how are we going to manage the expectation when they fail in the coming election on Saturday by the grace of the Almighty. I think that is what we should be more concerned about. How are we going to deal with those who believe strongly that they're the only one that can turn Nigeria around?
All right, Mr. Israel, let me talk about the plans of your candidate for the young people. Young people cannot forget the loud silence in many cases and his response during the NSAS protests of 2020 and after the days leading afterwards. So there's a concern around his plan for young people and his respect for the opinions of young people in Nigeria. What are his concrete plans to ensure that he addresses the agitations from 2020 and he's able to run an inclusive government that is fully representative of young people?
Aya, thank you very much. I'm really excited about the fact that we can now go into real issues and substance rather than all the political thing that others, Nigerians, want us to talk about the key facts. How are we going to improve their lives? How are we going to turn around the economy? Asiwaju is concerned about young people. And if you look at his antecedent, because they say that by their fruit you will know them. Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. So if I want to, the Yoruba says, shake me. In other words, a high that is going to last with you is not going to start tearing in the morning. So I've got to look at what have you done before. If you are in front of me for a job interview, I'm going to ask you, what's your CV? Where's your background? So let me go into Asiwaju's background, for example. When he was governor of Lagos, he understands the importance of investing in the future. And he said, if we're going to invest in the future, we've got to invest in education. And because of that, he began by first paying the WAEC and NECO fees of every young person, every student in Lagos State to enable them to be able to have a quality education and go to university. That is part of his background that he had done. One of the things he also did, for example, was to introduce what he called the one-day governor. I was a one-day commissioner of information. Afterwards, I got the opportunity to get a scholarship from Asiwaju to go and study at London Metropolitan University. And I'm one of over 10,000, if not more, that have benefited from Lagos State government scholarship, bursaries, and all of that across, in particular, under Asiwaju's government. Now, let me speak to that fact. As a result of his passion for education, he now created the one-day governor program so that, young people who distinguish themselves in the classroom, in their studies, can get a shot at leadership to show you that if you study hard and you don't do Yahoo, you get a chance to become maybe a governor one day, a minister one day, a president one day. That's investing in the future. Now, where does that lead us today? You will see the same structure mentored by Asiwaju has already grown in Lagos, for example, where there's a program we call a Co-Excel, which has been studied by other states, including Kwara, which inspired the Kwara Learn program, to then get young people ready for the future. So we're even beginning from basic education. Buhari administration has invested a lot in the TED Fund, for example, over 1.7 trillion capital intervention in TED Fund, but also in UBEC, Universal Basic Education, a lot of investment was done. Asiwaju is saying, when I get into government, I'm going to invest so much money in UBEC to begin to invest in basic education. Digitalization of our classroom like we have done in Lagos State. Digitalization of teaching and learning like we have done in Lagos State. Every public primary school in Lagos State today have a tab in their hand through which they take the attendance of their pupil, to which they teach their pupil, and through which they take all the data of the student in the classroom. So if you move from Badagry to Badore in Lagos today, all they need to do is to move your data from that school to the next school. Every lessons that you have attended, everything you have participated is transferred. Because it is digitalized and centralized. We're going to scale this up nationally, but there's going to be a strong focus on basic education. Get it right for children at the startup age. You will be able to build guys who are going to succeed in their WAEC and in turn succeed in university and have a good shot at prosperity. We're going to do our best to limit out of school children. Dr. Bati, just one more. And also invest in startups and entrepreneurs. Many young people have graduated and are looking for jobs. Yes, there's going to be public sector jobs, but Asiwaju is committed to also creating private sector jobs by creating startup grants and funding to help entrepreneurs be able to become employers of labor. He has done this in Lagos. In Lagos, we have what we call the LSCTF, Lagos State Enterprise Trust Fund that gives startups, entrepreneurs in Lagos money to grow and scale up their business. These are part of the things we want to scale up at the national level. And this is what we should be talking about, and not just about how old is somebody and what school did he go. I'm talking about the impact that has transformed the life of millions of Nigerians.
Okay, Dayo Israel, we need.
So guys, we all know that Nigeria has been faced with the problem of poor leadership. We have leaders that do not really care about the masses. We have people that clinch to power just to satisfy their own personal interests. And you see Nigerians groaning in poverty. So guys, as the election draws near, it is a time for us to change Nigeria for the better. Let us vote wisely. Vote and vote your conscience. Don't allow yourself to be bought with money. Please let us think about a better Nigeria, a Nigeria that will work for everybody. And that is why I am encouraging everybody out there to come out and vote for Peter Obi and Datti Ahmed. They've promised us a better Nigeria, a Nigeria that works for everybody. For we all know that a new Nigeria is possible. Let us make it happen this coming Saturday. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, give this video a like, and let me know what you think in the comment section below. Thank you.